my name's Anthony Suarez. I'm a senior systems engineer with OVH Cloud US, and today we'll be having a conversation with Dr. Josh Scharfman, who's the Chief Technology and Innovation Officer for the California Association of Realtors. The company came over to OVH Cloud, and we're going to discuss how that migration went. Hopefully today what we're going to discover is how working with OVH Cloud, we're able to keep the skills gaps small and manage the environments using the same policies and procedures, and leveraging OVH Cloud's tools to reduce manual provisioning and reduce the total cost of ownership. So, Josh, how are you today, sir?
Anthony, terrific. It's wonderful to spend time with. I'm glad that we have the opportunity to re-engage.
It's always a pleasure to speak with you. So just to start, how did you initially get involved working with OVH?
Well, it really wasn't a matter of per se. What occurred was OVH acquired the assets of VMware's vCloud Air when VMware exited that business. And we were faced with a decision. Where were we going to place our workloads, knowing that our direction was to multiply the number of workloads that we had in private cloud almost by an order of magnitude, 10 times as much. So we were really looking to make a good decision, not only for the present, but also for the fulfillment of our future plans.
Cool. And so, with that in mind, how was your initial engagement with the OVH Cloud team?
Well, our engagement was not anything like what we might have expected. We really expected that we would simply take workloads from one place, put it in another workplace. But as things turned out, we learned in working with the professional services team at OVH Cloud that our workloads were not sized appropriately. We learned that if we could put our own hubris aside for a moment and learn from these new partners and professional services team at OVH Cloud, we could actually improve the performance of our workload significantly by reducing, in many cases, the resources that were allocated. So we went through a very, very detailed and arduous and diligent 6-week process where we right-sized all of our workloads. We then ran an extensive set of load tests in our target environment, and we prepared ourselves for our production cutover.
Excellent, excellent. So, what happened after the migration cutover?
Well, I think what is most interesting is what happened during the migration cutover. One of the features of our workload act as an identity provider for our 220,000 members and the people who we represent at the California Association of Realtors. So the prospect of being down for any appreciable amount of time is really an anathema to us. So what we were able to do working with our partners at OVH Cloud was to create a layer 2 stretch between vCloud Air and OVH Cloud. By doing so, we were able to continue providing services while our workloads were in transit. And time when we couldn't simply do some magic with DNS because our minimum TTLs, given our DNS provider at the time, were 2 hours. And that was unacceptable. Today we're able to run our TTLs down to 30 seconds. That's a different, but at the time, it was really important to maintain our services without interruption. And the bottom line was that in the course of this migration, we were able to limit any production downtime to 120 seconds or less, which was an enormous win, an enormous success for us in the migration.
Excellent. So, how's your interaction with OVH Cloud evolved since that initial migration?
Well, the evolution has been one where our needs are constantly evolving. And as such, OVH Cloud is matching our evolution with the services and the tools that they provide. We started out with one set of production workloads in one data center. that quickly evolved to setting up a second data center in Vint Hill, Virginia, where our primary production data center was located in Hillsboro, Oregon. And we connected those two data centers together using OVH's VRAC, their layer two connection. So even though we had two physical, disparately located data centers, they appeared to us as one set of connected data centers. We started out with roughly a dozen production workloads in the Hillsboro data center to the place where we are today, where we are now running approximately 120 different workloads. We started out using OVH Cloud's Veeam as a service, and are now running our own instances of Veeam and handling our backups on the schedule that we need. We originally had some bare metal servers in order to host the workloads that were not able to be virtualized. And at such time where we did not need those services, we were able to release those bare metal servers rather, and use our hosted private cloud exclusively. We supplemented with storage servers. And as time goes on, we continually change the configurations of the physical servers in our hosted private cloud to the evolving needs of our users, whether those evolving needs are demanding more resources or whether over time certain resources are no longer required.
So, how did moving to OVH Cloud impact your internal operations?
Well, they impacted it incredibly positively. I think it's best articulated with an anecdote. I recall one weekend about 3 years ago where we received an email over the weekend, and the email simply said, "Oh, CAR, we recognize that one of your physical servers had a fault. What we did was we rolled another physical server into your hosted private cloud. We redistributed the workloads. We went ahead and performed whatever service was required on that physical server." We received another email later on that weekend indicating that the remediation was complete, that the original server was restored, and the workloads were redistributed. We wouldn't have known about that were it not for having received that email. And from our point of view, the contrast was a 3 alarm emergency of having to roust people and network operations folks over the weekend, get them set, perhaps go drive to a data center, perform whatever interventions was required, and instead it was all happening behind the scenes. Uh, Similarly, when there was a suspected denial of service attack on our environment, we were simply vacuumed into OVH Cloud's denial of service protection environment. And when that bad act ceased, we were, restored back to where we were. So all of this is happening behind the scenes automatically without any of our intervention required.
So glad. I mean, we're really proud of that capability at OVH Cloud, and really glad to hear how well it has served you. So, what are the future plans for CAR, California Association of Realtors, and OVH Cloud?
Well, we are looking forward to next year, taking advantage of OVH Cloud's integration of Zerto in the hosted private cloud environment. So we will be implementing for our most workloads an automatic failover to supplement the manual failovers that we have between our production data center and our development and DR disaster data center located in Virginia. So that will be an interesting evolution, and one that we probably would not have been able to automate to the same were it not for the built-in integration that makes it very easy for leverage those capabilities.
Cool. I'm really glad. I'm really happy that you have had so much success working with OVH Cloud, and I really look forward to working with you again in the future in our continued partnership. Thank you so much for your time, Josh. I really appreciate it.
A pleasure. Great speaking with you again, Anthony, and all the best.